Welcome back to Mullen Lave Wargaming. This is War in the Pacific Admirals Edition, and we're playing a play-by-email campaign as Japan in Scenario 1. We're now reviewing the setup for the December 29th, 1941 turn. China's going to be a little on the quiet side this turn, probably. We're continuing to allow the enemy to retreat out of Chusin while we kind of set up, hopefully, an ambush for him over here next to Nanchang. Further north, we've moved into the hex adjacent to Nanyang, and we're still moving in additional forces. The enemy's vacated this hex. That's fine. Once we concentrate our forces, I guess I'll end up making a final decision on whether I want to attack a concentration of over 120,000 troops here at Nanyang. And then north on the road to Cyan, we've busted it open, so we're just heading down that way. So Bangkok and Rangoon temporarily suspending offensive operations with the Nels just because of the loss rate. We're going to have to find another approach to deal with these guys, or at least get fighter numbers back up. However, priority for Zeros really is on getting the our light carriers and escort carrier squadrons up to full strength. So one thing I am doing is moving more Oscars into Singapore or Malaya when I can. We've got, I think we're up to 3 squadrons or thirds of squadrons. So 2 here now plus the 1 at Miri. And there will be more to come. And that'll hopefully free up some of these Zeros. Like, we've got 9 more Zeros here, so that could hopefully free them up to go up to Bangkok. And of course, the Nates at Bangkok itself could be upgraded to Oscars to participate in the air campaign that's shaping up over there. We should be attacking here at Malacca. Yes, we've got armor present, and it looks like the enemy there is basically just a speed bump. So we're coming down to the wire. We'll be at Johore in probably 3 days, meaning with full force, not the ones that are already there, and Singapore to follow pretty closely thereafter. So I think we're probably looking at something like the end of the first week of January as the theoretical earliest that we could have Singapore fall. Java, Carrier Division 2 is pulling out, taking the tour kind of the long way so we can get strikes at all these guys. So Kandari's been captured. We're going to be moving aviation support here because there's basically no damage here, while at Hambin we're still working on repairing it, and the engineers haven't even been there that long. It's going to be a while before we can bring that back up. So the move against Port Moresby is in progress. You can see here the COG is formed up with our primary amphibious task force, which now has these 2 slower light cruisers leading it up and hopefully prepared to take some damage. There's a substantial amount of coastal defense, which there probably will be. And of course we have our 3 destroyer minesweepers for the minefield that we know is there. Primary Kido Butai with 3 carriers is kind of following the historical route, passing to the east and south of the Solomons to keep an eye on anybody that's going to possibly intrude. And that's really it. Like, we already have Guam. Do we need to say anything about the Philippines? Like, we're attacking here in Bayombong again, and having just recently won in Batangas. We're giving these guys a turn of rest, because, I mean, they just won a major battle. But they're heading to Manila next. We've got our troops over in Iba. They're resting for this turn, but we've got additional forces that landed at Lingayen, so they're going to be reinforcing them and then we'll push for real. And then once this is out of the way, I think the way to go is to basically just kind of mop up all these bases, the smallest one at a time. So if we don't take Bam then the victorious units here can go ahead and like move back to Lingayen, and then the units that are in reserve at Lingayen at the moment can go ahead and move to Cantabuon and then over to Bambang, finish the resistance at Bambang. If Manila hasn't fallen by then Manila's next, and then finally Clark. But I'm unhappy with the amount of time that we've had our tanks here, basically just accumulating fatigue and not defeating this relatively small enemy force. So we're going to put an end to it, and then move on and finish the Luzon campaign hopefully within 2 weeks. And last thing to mention, here south of Cagayan, we didn't take a whole lot of damage here, so we're just shock attacking, and that will hopefully be enough to finish these extremely weakened units off. Alright, so with that, we'll go ahead and do the combat replay. Thanks for watching. Combat replay now in progress for December 29th. Gotta finish off these PT boats. The battleship's running low on ammo is what's going to send these guys back to rearm, so PTs seem to be accomplishing their mission here. Still can't get them. It's a whole lot of lead being thrown into the water. At least we're fighting them at 8,000 yards. For all I know, some of these boats still have torpedoes aboard. Hey, we got one. Finally. And that's another. Somebody just got ordered to withdraw. Be really nice when these sub-chasers get upgraded. And we just sank a little ASW craft. Yeah, and they should have got one of ours, but got Mark 14'd. So at least 4 subs here hanging off truck. Ooh, up to a task force of 3 PTs. It's a little on the big side. Alright, I'm skipping this. Two out of three ain't bad. Nope. God, how many of these, like, tiny PT task forces are there over there that there's so many surface contacts? I'm guessing this sub's headed back to base since it's so close to Pearl Harbor. It's probably patrolling the opposite side. Where's this? Oh, this must be off the coast of Iba. Yeah, near Iba. These destroyers are busy in these hexes right adjacent to Pearl. Another engagement in the same hex. I think that's a third in this hex, plus another one on the one to the east of it. Finally landed troops on Namlia. Be nice to get rid of that. All I'm really doing is taking it so our ships don't want to avoid that hex on the way to Ambon anymore. There it goes. And another. And another. Got him. I'm thinking that report near the Shortlands might be real. If it is, they're in pretty deep. Yeah, part of my intention of getting rid of these guys involves using the bombers. The bombers aren't getting a whole lot done at Clark. That was a decent amount of damage dealt for 20,000 feet. Since we're getting close to invading Singapore, I'm trying to get their supply numbers down. Hopefully it doesn't cost us too many more planes. Even a critical hit brings him down. Haven't been attacked by the Hummers up here in a while. Yeah, I'm not really in a hurry to take out Tarakan because of how many coastal defense guns are there. I'll do it for Malacca. Last stop before Singapore is Johore. Oof. So that didn't go well. Low number of squads destroyed for us, though. So I just need to calm down. No need to rush it. Well, at least the enemy took the worst of it. Ooh, we finally got one of these guys. So one enemy unit's wiped out. That's a good sign. I think the rest should buckle soon then. Alright, so looking at the results of the turn, really uneventful in terms of air losses, just 6 for them and 4 for us. Yeah, we've just got a mix of operational and flak losses on our side. And for them, mostly just recon aircraft being picked off or running out of luck operationally. We're credited with shooting 1 medium bomber down in China, and that's really the only direct combat kill. For ships sunk, really it was just a whole bunch of PT boats, Dutch PT boats at that, all hanging around the, forget the name of the island, Flores area, and then plus we picked off that YP over on the west coast. Just looking at these guys, see if there's anybody that might be important here. Not really. So China, we're still working on these guys. We're getting out of the way of these guys. We're trying to attack these guys since we seem to be the more powerful unit here. I think we can probably keep doing that. And really, that's all that's going on in China right now. Over at Rangoon, we've still got a whole bunch of enemy ships reported in port. If they're staying disbanded in port, that might mean that they know about the minefield and they're trying to clear it first, would be my guess. So they're just temporarily restricted. Malaya, we took out Malacca. There's really nothing else. I mean, these guys are just a speed bump, really. So, Johor Bahru next. So, as for here, we have 1 surface task force left in the area, and it's going to have to return to base already, because, I mean, 1 battleship's completely out of primary battery ammo, and the other one is getting low. So hey, at least they took out like 7 PT boats, right? It's better than nothing. We've invaded Namlia, so we can take that this turn. Carrier Division 2 is working its way around. Bit concerned about there being a submarine this close to it. And obviously fuel status is not great. I don't want to get that Carrier 2 involved with shit. The good news is it's not detected at the moment. So heck, even before I start my own turn, I'm going to go ahead and dogleg this guy to keep him away from the submarine. Yeah, that's better. So I'm really hoping that we can finish unloading these guys so we can get these guys back to Ambon so they can transport the air HQ to Kandari as intended. Davao, this group of friendly forces took a bit of a beating. They're definitely not going to be able to attack next turn. We had some success at Bayombang. Yeah, fatigue's high, but it's been high. We're still waiting to get additional troops into Iba before we attack there. And we were a little concerned that we were spotting actual task forces in the Coral Sea. It looks like that concern may have been exaggerated. We've even sent our raiders like all the way into the Numia-Fiji gap, and they haven't even been detected. The enemy continues to operate a substantial number of ships off Port Moresby. They have not detected the approaching amphibious task force. and they haven't detected the heavy covering task force or the Keto Butai on screen. So it looks like we're about to catch them pretty much completely unprepared. Distance for the invasion task force to Port Moresby is now 13 spaces. They're making 8 a day, so that's going to be 2 days of movement. So after this coming turn is when I'll detach those minesweepers, probably. Alright, that's a good place to end it. We'll see you for the setup for the 30th. Thanks for watching. Alright, well, by the time you get to the end of this, I'm sure that everyone's noticed that there hasn't been regular updates on this channel for, it's probably been 2 weeks by now. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I started falling behind a while ago, and like as looking at the uphill amount that I was going to have to climb to get caught up, it sort of just hit me that the amount of time that it's taking to produce these videos is pretty much more time than it's even playing or taking to play the game itself. And it's just been cutting in way too much to other areas of my life, and it's just unsustainable. I wish I realized that sooner when I first started doing this, and I didn't get so far along into it. So yeah, I still kind of want to do AARs. I really like the Ludo narrative that these kinds of games create, and I actually like having a searchable history just for my own review of the intelligence of what's gone on. So I guess 2 things, or 3 things. So one, obviously I'm going to be discontinuing the series. So for those of you following, I apologize for that. Second, I'll just invite everyone that's been listening that's not there already to stop by Jochen Heiden's Discord server. I'm relatively active there, and I've been, posting updates about this campaign. I've got my own little sub-channel there. And that doesn't take any time at all. I can just be like, hey, this turn, here are the key points that happened, and, people jump in and talk strategy. It's a nice place to hang out. So I'll put the link to that in the description. And then, finally, I think I'm going to go back to doing the AARs I did for my very first campaign when I played on the played as the Allies. So that's going to be over at SubSim. So I'm going to start a new thread for that since nobody seemed to have a problem with me having a War in the Pacific thread in their general topics forum last time. So I'll go ahead and do another one. I don't want to tack on to the original one because it's already 30, 40, 50 pages long, and it's just a completely different campaign anyways, so I think we can let the old one die and the new one pop up. So I'll put a link to that in the description too. So yeah, just gonna once again, sorry for starting something that I couldn't finish, and maybe we'll see you on Discord or at SubSim. Have a good one, guys.